Hello, hello, hello. I hope you all are having a super duper fantastic day out there. It's hump day. It's the start of a new week. Y'all know that this is my vacation week. So just showing up tells you how much I've missed you and how much I love you. But let's get the theme song going. Hey, hey, I'm live at 5. 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 Come on inside of the StreamYard room. I got my girl Sherilyn inside here in the background. I'm so excited. Look, you guys, I love you and I miss you. Go ahead, share this video. This conversation is all about just enough to say I'm doing it. Do y'all get that? Just enough to say I'm doing it. Does that sound like you? Does that sound like something that you would say, or maybe you wouldn't admit to it? But when it came to me actually starting my business, that's what I was doing, just enough to say that I'm doing it. And some of you guys may feel the way that I do, or you may not be ready to admit it. But I promise you, if you ain't showing up out here in the world, on the court, the way that you know that you should, oh, you probably fall in this category too, just enough to say that I'm doing it, right? And if you can admit that, I want you to say, okay, that's me. Put it in the chat. That's me, just enough to say that I'm doing it. And that's how it was. Thank you, Sissy, for sharing. Thank you, Sherilyn, for sharing. So look, that's how I was when I started. Like, I actually got this calling to actually become a speaker, teacher, and coach back in 2013. Do you know that's 10 years ago? But I'm only celebrating my 5th-year anniversary on May the 13th. I just want y'all to know that's how long it took for me to get in this game for real. And it took a situation of life, like being let go, being fired, to actually get me in the game full time. Put it in the chat, just enough to say I'm doing it. Put it in the chat, just enough to say I'm doing it. So before I get into this conversation on how I want to encourage you, give you some tidbits on how to do more than just enough to say that you're doing it, I want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Deneen Merriweather. I am the CEO and founder of Queenpreneurs Jumpstart Program. It is the #1 training environment for women in the world looking to leverage their knowledge, ignite their passion, and build a highly profitable business. See, my stand is for women in the world to do what it is that they love. Do not just settle for a job. Tam, I see you out there, just enough to say I'm doing it. I get it. I understand. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm going to share today. So look, women in the world, I want you to be able to have all the things, right? I don't want you to sacrifice the things that you want in life, to be a parent, to have a job, to have a career. Like, I really do believe that you can have all the things. But in order for you to have all the things, you do have to enroll people in helping you. You do have to have systems and processes. Like, that's just a part of life. You're already doing it anyway. I'm sure if you're cooking meals for a family or yourself, or you're going to work every day and you're managing a team and you managing children and doing all these things, you already got systems and plans in place. Why not set it up in a way that you can have everything that you want? I'm just saying, look, it ain't as hard as it looks or it appears, but I promise you, it is going to require effort and it is going to require time. Put it in the chat. It takes effort and it takes time. You know, that's my favorite saying. I need a t-shirt. Like, it takes effort and it takes time. It's work. You got that right, Sherilyn. It is work, but it should not deter you from going after your dreams because it takes work, because you already working. And it ain't no need of putting all that energy and time and effort and work into something that you really don't want, when you could really be using that time and effort into the things that you really want. Okay. So let me tell you how I was just doing enough to say that I was doing it, right? So, you know, I told you back in 2013, after I came from the Essence Music Festival, God told me that I needed to speak and teach us what I should be doing. And I got freaked out, right? I started crying and was just like, no, I ain't trying to do that. I got some spiritual counsel. I talked to my friends and family, and everybody was like, no, Deneen, you know, we think you could do that. Now, previously, that December was my first speaking engagement at my church. It was a ladies' day, and I had to speak on forgiveness. And I remember talking about Anna Mae, eat the pie, just eat the cake, right? Just eat the cake, right? Whatever it is that God is telling you to do, he tells us, you know, forgive each other, what, 70 times seven? And that's not where it ends, but that's how often. I mean, if you think about 70 times 7, you should just be that free with forgiving people. Put it in the chat. I need to forgive the people in my life. Put it in the chat. I need to forgive. See, this is just the Holy Spirit. Just put it in the chat. I need to forgive the people in my life. Yeah, you really do. If somebody has done something to you, you need to forgive them. Like, it ain't no need of holding on to it, because it's hurting you more than it's hurting them. It's like drinking the poison and thinking that they're going to die from it. I need to forgive the people in my life. And one day, if we in a space, I'll show you how to get complete with some of these things that you're holding on to, but you're going to have to get in the class. You're going to have to come spend some time with me so we can work through whatever the situation is. But look, so God was telling me during this time, like, okay, I need you to speak and teach. This is what I really want you to do. And after I had that speaking engagement, I went back to some of the people. I was like, did you really feel it was effective? Do you really feel like I could do this for real? And of course, people that support me, care about me, they're like, yeah, Deneen, I could see you doing this. It was good. You did a great job. And I was just like, okay, well, let me start developing myself. Put this in the chat, just enough to say I'm doing it. So then after I got that calling from God, I was just like, well, how can I start developing myself? And remember, a couple of weeks ago, I told you I started going to conferences, I started studying people, following people. But then when it was time for me to get out there, I was doing just enough to be obedient, right? Just enough to say, well, I don't want God to think I'm not doing what He's telling me to do. So maybe every so often I do a video and put it on Facebook, or every so often I may reach out to somebody and say, hey, can I speak on your platform? Like nothing consistent, nothing that I was doing for real. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing? So good to see you. Girl, you've been traveling. Did you go to the conference this weekend? I want to say I think I saw you, but hopefully you had an amazing time. So I was doing just enough to say that I was doing it. And if you see yourself in this category, I want you to raise your hand. You can put a hand in the chat. But here's what I want to do to encourage you to become more confident and competent and be more and have more courage in what it is that God is calling you to do. There's some things that I want you to do here to help you. And the first thing that I want you to do is increase your frequency. Put it in the chat, like increase your frequency. So whatever it is that you are doing, like for me, if it was going live, I think at first, initially, I was only going live maybe once a week. And then that was scattered, right? It was depending on if I felt like I had something to talk about, if I felt comfortable. And then I would stay up all night trying to think of like a 10-minute video. Then I would finally record it. It'd be almost 1:00 the next day. And then I would post it and put it out there, right? So, okay. So LaShawn is like, yeah, okay, that's me for sure. I'm doing just enough to say that I'm doing it, right? And whoever it is that if you have a business, maybe you got your beginning points, like maybe you did Queenpreneur's Jumpstart program and you got your LLC or your incorporation done. You may have your logo, you may have your colors, your mission statement, and all this stuff. But if you don't have that, if you don't have that, and you saying that you have a business and you still need to get that stuff together, you might need to get up in Queenpreneur's Jumpstart program. I'm just saying, because those pieces help you feel legit. But if you have it, put it in the chat. I already have it. Put it in the chat. I already have it. Okay. So whatever that thing is that you're doing to get your feet wet, to put your to start giving people what it is that you offer, right? Because people want to know how you can serve them and how you can help them. Like it takes a lot for people to just swipe a card for something they're not sure about or they don't know enough about you. And the thing about building your credibility and that you are someone that they can trust is increasing your frequency. If they only saw you out here doing that particular thing once a month or once every 3 months, or some of y'all try to play out here once a year, like, the beginning of the year, you get the motivation, you start, and then nobody see you again until next year around the same time. Oh yeah, if it's you, I'm stepping on your toes today, right? I'm just put it in the chat, just enough to say I'm doing it, just enough to say I'm doing it. Yeah. So if it is something that you're doing, I just want you to increase your frequency. For me, again, it started once a week. And then from once a week, girl, I got ambitious. Then I started doing it like every day, like 5 days a week. When the pandemic came, it was like 5 days a week. And then I was like, that wasn't really netting me what I was looking for based on the effort. So I stopped. And then my team, they out here, told me, no, we miss you. Come on, girl, you got to come back. So then I was like, okay, 3 days a week. That's what I'm doing. 3 days a week. But y'all going to have to share. Y'all going to have to get it out here. We got to increase these numbers. We got to get it up because the effort that is taken from me to show up is not giving me the return that I need, right? But whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to increase your frequency. If it's sending out emails, increase your frequency. If it's doing lives or recorded videos, increase your frequency. Tiffany, I don't know how often, but you've been increasing your frequency. So let people know how often you're live. Tiffany, I've been seeing you out there. I want to say, LaShawn, you're live once a week and then you post every day. Right? Heart in the Pace Wednesday. Come on, sissy. Yeah, you already know this is what it's about on the Wednesday. You clutch your pearls on Wednesday. If you come up in here, you already know what it's going to be, right? So increase your frequency. Number two, this is the thing that I want you to do too, because we already 10 minutes in. So I want you to get into the habit of practicing. Put it in the chat. I need to practice. Put it in the chat. I need to practice, right? Because in order for you to become more comfortable and confident in what it is that you're doing, you have to do it, right? And increasing she said 3 times a week. Okay, that's great, Tiffany. So what I need you to get is the more that you practice doing a thing, like I really want to speak more, right? Like speak more. And they're not coming to do live. Live is kind of different than speaking, having a speaking engagement, different tools, different conversation, different flow, right? So for me, I'm like, how frequently can I do some form of a speaking engagement? Like my goal is to have 25 of them this year. Now, I don't know if I had any yet this year. I got to go back and count. But my goal is 25. And it's not just leading the introduction. Like I want speaking engagements that people swiping cards for, right? So I have my goal. But in order for me to be able to do that, number one, I got to put something together, right? I got to write something out. Now, I do have a signature presentation, but I want to do another talk. And maybe for you, I don't know what it is, but you need to be practicing. Like for real practicing, getting people together. I think every speaking engagement I had last year, I want to say I probably called my sister and was just like, hey, this is what I'm talking about. These are my points. And here's what I'm going to say. Now, 9 times out of 10, she'll tell you, I don't never say none of the things that I practice. But to stop laughing at me, Cheryl is inside the background laughing like, yeah, she ain't doing that. But the key to the thing is that you need to practice. Like, don't go cold. Don't wing it. We don't wing business, right? Y'all know ain't no winging it. Put it in the chat. Don't wing it. Put it. Y'all know that's one of my things. Don't wing it. Practice it. Even when you're going live, even when you're doing your posts, even when you're doing your creatives, like practice, get better, get feedback, send it out to people that you trust, right? And tweak it. Do whatever you need. Hire somebody. Whatever it is that you need to do, but you need to be practicing. Okay, do you understand? Because practice will give you the improvement that you're looking for. It will also stretch you. She said, okay, facts. I don't know what is facts. Facts that I don't be saying none of the stuff that I be practicing. Okay, look, Cheryl is nodding her head like, right. You be practicing, but then when you get on stage and you get out there, you be saying something else. But listen, just don't wing it, okay? And number three, put yourself out there. Put it in the chat. Put yourself out there. So what do I mean by put yourself out there, right? Because you trying to move from the place of just doing enough to say that you're doing it. That means people that you know, like me or other people that have platforms, if you know you're speaking, teaching, you're a coach, this is a arena that you want to be in. Why aren't you reaching out to people, asking them to be on their platform, to be on their podcast, to teach something in the class, even if it's 15 minutes? I'm telling you, I did it. I had a girlfriend that had this conference called I Was Not Built to Break. And I reached out to her and I was just like, look, I really want to start speaking and teaching. And you got a platform. And I know that you already did your program, so I know I won't get no exposure. I know my picture won't be nowhere. But do you have like 15 minutes that I could just teach something, speak a word? And I remember my topic, it was like the turning point, right? It was actually me talking about God giving me the calling to start walking in this path that I'm in now. And what do you do when you hear from him? What is it? How do you respond? How do you make it happen? How do you pivot and turn when God is calling you to do something else that you've never done before, that you have no training in, that your degree is not in, that you know no one else in your immediate circle that's doing? How do you move forward on this path without feeling like you're heading down a road of destruction, right? Because you feel so unprepared. But I talked about that turning point, and to be obedient is greater than the sacrifice. I'll sacrifice looking stupid. I sacrifice not knowing what I'm doing just to do what God is calling me to do, because I know that he's going to bless it. I know that if he's calling me to it or bringing me to it, he's going to get me through it. And that's the way you got to walk on this journey of your business that you're developing, that you're creating. Like, you really got to believe that if God has placed this service to provide for people on your heart, in your heart, just know that he's going to provide you with the things that you need, but you got to get in the game. Put it in the chat. I got to get in the game. So if you're just doing enough to say that you're doing it, I need you to level up. And if you are willing to do that, I want you to say, I will, right? So that means if whatever type of increase in your frequency you need to do, I want you to commit to doing it. If you need to practice more, I want you to commit to doing it. And if you need to start putting yourself out there, I need you to be committed to look at one of these programs, 3 of these programs, and I want you to call the person that's in charge of the program, and I want you to ask him to give you an opportunity to be on the platform to share what it is that you know. Okay, she said, I will do. Right. So what is it? What is it that you're going to do? Right? Like, increasing your frequency Or are you going to start trying to get on platforms that have speaking engagements so you can get in front of audiences, so you can increase your database and the emails that you have, so you can actually talk to live people that can actually invest in your program? Because see, being out here on social media is good, but social media is just a presence, really, right? It's just a way for people to get a taste of what it is that you offer. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to call you and that you're going to be able to sell them something, but it is an opportunity for them to see you consistently showing up, giving value to them that benefits them, even if they don't swipe a card, right? There's people that share with me conversations that I had that I don't even remember having, posts that I put out here in the universe I don't even remember, right? I think Tamu mentioned something to me today of maybe it was Jack of all trades and master of none. She's like, I'm looking for that video. I'm like, girl, I remember when I recorded that video. I was at the radio station inside my office, but don't ask me what I was talking about because I don't remember. So go find the video, go get it. All I know is that I'm the Jack of all trades and the master of none, right? So just whatever it is that you're doing, know that I believe in you. I believe if God told you to do it, he will bless it. But there is a process. Put it in the chat. There's a process. And in order for you to be able to go to the process, you need to increase your frequency, you need to practice, and you need to put yourself out there. There's no shortcuts. There's no getting there quickly. It's going to take effort. It's going to take time. But I promise you, if you put the time in, the blessings will come out. It's like reaping and sowing. If you sow the seed, it will reap fruit. But you cannot expect for this thing to blow up, to give you the millions of dollars, for you to replace your income for the job, the 9 to 5 that you have, if you just doing enough to say that you're doing it. Do you understand the words that's coming out of my mouth? All right, take that, put it in your shanana. I love you. It's hump day, coming back on Friday. Yes, on my week of vacation. I still want to be with you because I've been going and I've been working in it for a week. So I understand. I don't want you to miss out on getting ready. It is the anniversary celebration on May the 13th, starting at 11 o'clock a.m. right here on the channel. It's my 5th year anniversary, and we're going to have great speakers. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have all the things. So you don't want to miss it. Just make sure you put it on your calendar, starting at 11 o'clock, maybe running until 2 or 3. And you can just pop in. I know it's a Saturday. You may be out and about, but you don't want to miss it. And you can always come back and catch the replay, but don't be trying to get all the goodies on the replay. That's all I'm saying. You got to be in it to win it. All right. Always looking forward to serving you. I'll see you guys on Friday. I'm live at 5. Hey, I'm live.